sun itself has actually been blocked in some way by some force, causing it to have this crimson red hue, blanketing the grass and the trees and the hanging gardens that you see out in front of you.
Magic is all off kilter right now. Everything is confusing and powerful and misdirected. It's like the red sun itself is eating the magic from the earth.
I don't think that's what's causing the problems.
If you know something, please tell me, because I know that the people of the Hanging Gardens will be very frightened of this. This is unlike anything that we've ever seen.
It's one of the gods, the two-headed dragon that we saw. I'm here as its sort of representative. If you're here because of Aether, and you have such a strong tie to Lumbra now, the way they talked about it, it almost sounded like it was the gods sent their representatives down to stop the corruption.
As you make your way down the hill to the Hanging Garden, the ruins themselves look what we would call like modern buildings. And as you enter the city limits, you start to approach that large group of varying races that are all just sort of, you see them murmuring about with each other and looking in the sky, all gathering outside of Z's tavern.
Saint is going to start asking the people outside of the tavern if they've seen Sansa.
Yes. Inside.
Sansa's inside.
As you enter, you also immediately make eye contact with the bard that you know as Thotton. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that there is something strange happening outside, but allow me to take your mind off that. As you all know, I was brought here by the mayor, and everyone begins to clap. Yay! Thotton motions to someone on the top row. You see Balthazar. A round of applause for Thotton, everybody. A round of applause. Oh, yeah. The titanic walls of leafy green among the treetops high. On whispered winds a lily floats on a branch that fate supplied. Flower from the hanging garden, bloom of destiny. Don't let your heart be hardened. And then he looks directly at you, Saint, and says, flower from the hanging garden.
Woo! Yeah, all right.
He seems to finish as if that was the entirety of his performance, as he does not stop eye contact with you, Saint, and walks down the stage, the small stage that was built.
He's coming.
Is he the mayor?
Do you guys love each other? Fixing my hair.
No,
Saint,
you look great.
Yes, Thornton, it's good to see you again.
You left in such a interesting manner the last we met. I thought you were dead. That storm took you and threw you against the buildings. I saw your body break.
When the storm passed, she was gone.
She was gone. But all I could find was, luckily, the tracks of Sansa.
You followed Sansa to the Hanging Gardens?
She was acting strangely. I don't know her well, so I can only assume. She seemed to keep away from people and murmured to herself quite often.
This Balthazar, the mayor, is, yes?
Yes.
He appears very well loved in the city.
Wait, is there the mayor and but there was Joanna, who's the matriarch?
How is he the leader of the Hanging Gardens? It's a matriarchal society.
A lot has changed. Balthazar's introduced quite a few new ideas.
From what I have understood from Balthazar, he told me he's the mayor and that there are 4 or 5 other council members.
And he was voted in by whom?
Those who own businesses in the city.
Yes, well.
It's all about the coin now. So everybody make perception checks as you're making your way through the crowd.
Saint and Thotton almost instantaneously notice that there seems to be someone in a hood and heavy clothing that is trying to make themselves scarce out the door.
She runs.
But as you exit the tavern, sure enough, about 30 feet, Saint, you see this figure with their hood up.
Sansa, slow down, I'm coming, please. So the mage hand will try to like grab her shoulder and make her look.
As the mage hand grabs, it pulls the hood from her body, and sure enough, you all see what looks like the carbon copy of Saint. What do you want?
Sansa, it's me.
Hi. It's all...
Look at me.
I don't know who you are.
It's okay. And she'll start to walk towards her with her arms out.
You are in my head.
No, it's not.
You
No.
are in my head. And she begins to grow in size. And as she grows larger and larger, her bottom form begins to swirl, her legs disappearing into a swirling sand tornado. Leave her alone. She will not be taken. We have things to do! The earth cracks in half and splits, just missing the tavern, and in the other direction hitting underneath the largest part of the ruins. This is the elemental form of Shogas, the goddess of earth. A form begins to swirl not but 20 feet away from this creature Sansa has turned into. It is a swirling form of wind and lightning and something blue and shiny amongst it. It is that form that you saw in the sky in the tundra. It is Aitha's elemental form. Shotas, seemingly from the ground, pulls what looks like a 10-foot tall maul and runs towards the form of Aitha.
And Val is grabbing Saint. We need to get away from them.
You see this aerial elemental split apart as it envelops the form of Shotas. It doesn't have to be this way.
Aitha, what do you want me to do?
Keep everyone safe and get out!
What about Sansa?
I will handle her! I didn't want to do this! And he takes, as his arms begin to sort of crackle with lightning, 3 very large, very sharp pieces of this blue metal appear as claws, and he sinks them into her. From the ground appears a man full of rock, and 2 smaller ones appear here.
Oh, geez.
The large one sort of looks between you and your echo. And you don't even need an inside check. It seems to recognize that you're the target and turns to you. So this one is going to take 2 slams attacks against you.
Echo has pretty privilege.
Nat 20 on the first.
Oh, no!
And
should have run away, Morgan.
23 on the second.
Those both hit.
17 bludgeoning. 14 bludgeoning on that.
Jeez.
Do Sanctuary on Val.
Yeah.
So then Cristobal will use his extra action to move closer, stick his head in the door of the tavern, and say, "Everyone has to run! There are giant gods destroying the city!"
All of the people from the tavern start to pour out, and they're pushing past you, Cristobal, so you're getting kind of caught up into the...
I told you to leave me alone! This is your fault! And the entire fog cloud coalesces back into the elemental, and she essentially power drives him into the ground. And this falls over onto the
poor elemental.
And you can see, even with all of the debris in the rock, that there's something underneath the ground. You can see an opening where there's a subterranean level that you did not know was there.
So the big one sinks into the earth and appears behind Valcorio.
I do have Sanctuary on because I didn't attack.
Its wisdom is a 10.
No.
So it will target for 21. First attack is 14.
Oh my god.
Bludgeoning, Saint. The second one is 8 bludgeoning.
Yep, Saint's out.
Oh, come on!
Gosh!
And you hear, "No!" come from Aitha.
This earth elemental is right here, and it just drops Saint. He's feeling guilty because of the Sanctuary, but he will swivel in order to like basically stand next to Saint and then unleash another icy breath weapon right in the face of this earth elemental.
Okay. That last final cold breath slams into the earth elemental. It freezes solid, and all of those cracks grow larger and wider, and it busts apart. Aitha form seems to, it was getting lighter and lighter, but its form seems to get thicker again. You hear Aitha say, "Thornton! Come to me!" There's a crackle of lightning that comes from inside the tavern and shoots out towards Aitha. Appearing in the lightning is Thornton. Wow. Thornton steps into the roiling energy that is Aitha. Those metal pieces clearly cutting his skin and almost dismembering him as he enters. Aitha, that entire elemental coalesces into the Thornton form. Flower from the hanging garden, bloom of destiny, I love you, beg your pardon, flower from the hanging garden. Shotas finish its electricity and sinks into the earth and disappears.
KoKo turns and sees that Saint is just lying prone on the ground and runs to Saint. And then I want to cast Cure Wounds.
You have a hard time connecting to whatever's happening up here in the air, so you actually reach down into the ground and you can feel that there's still a fair amount of magical energy in the earth, and you use that to heal her.
Are you all right?
I'll be fine.
You all make your way back into the tavern, which is now emptied because everyone has fled, so it's really just all of you and Thornton.
What happened to Sansa?
I have reason to believe that their pairing was discordant.
Sansa looked afraid and confused and didn't even recognize her own family.
It is part of being discordant. A long time ago, before any of the Animus, before many of the demi-races that we know, elves and dwarves, existed, there were a species, we know them as astral dwarves.
Yeah.
And they are the progenitors of all races. There is a particular line that draw the gods and can become avatars. When I die, for Aitha to continue to exist and for the very land to maintain the element in which I am god over, must find a new form.
I want to save her.
It is not that easy. If Shotas were to remove herself from Sansa, the very earth itself would crack apart. It would cause this planet to crumble. Something has happened to Gornode, and I must find out what it is. When we do, Shotas will be able to tell us a little bit more about what has happened.
Val, do you want to ask about the dragon?
Did it say what it wanted?
Yeah. It said to protect the Stormborn, to stop the corruption.
We cannot see it. We know its presence only because Thasha has told us it exists. We cannot sense it.
That's our job. Our job as the Stormborn is to stop the corruption.
That is my understanding as well. Seeing what you've done here today gives me much hope for the future.